Hi everybody, welcome to Carnation Crafts TV. I'm Laura. We have Bunny next door. Now today we have a brand new launch and this is our wild foliage card shape that you can see here. Really pretty one this. The number for this one is 250315. It is on a show price at $22.99 for you, and that is going to go back up at midnight tonight, so on a great price for you. You can see there two samples of the card, but we'll show you the board so you can see exactly what it is that you're going to get in here. It is such a pretty, it's really ornate, so much detail in there. You can see you've got your matte and layers, so you can make your card bases with these. Equally, you could use it as matte and layers onto a card and use it as a frame. And then you've also got that centerpiece there as well, so you could leave that out and you've got your center of your card, or add that in on its own, which just looks really pretty. You've got your foliage. This bit you can turn into a bow. Let me see if I can, like this. So you can pop it together like that. And some of the design team samples, they've also used it as a wrap to actually pop flowers in, almost like a pot. So you've got different ways of using that banner, bow, wrap, different ways of using it, but I'll show you the samples the design team have done so you can get some inspiration from the design team. So Vera has done this one, really pretty, and you can see using the matte layers to make the card base and then just using that center bit to make that aperture looks really pretty. And this is the expansion pack on Wild Wonders, which we do have coming up after, but that's where the florals in these and the extra bits you can see are coming from. And you can see that just in white looks so pretty. It's such a detailed die, and that looks really lovely just using the matte layers. I love as well how the design team have used it portrait and landscape, so you can use it in different ways. Look at that. So pretty. If you are looking at all the extra dies, so everything that you can see that's extra on these are from the Wild Wonders. Now we do have Wild Wonders coming up at 12 o'clock today, and that is also on a really good show price deal for today. So if you do want to have a look at that before the 12 o'clock show, if you're adding this into your basket, have a look at that, because then obviously that's going to bump you over the P&P mark, so you'll get your free P&P on that as well. Look at them. They are just so pretty. Look at this one. So using the center bit like an aperture. So popping that center bit in to make the aperture into the frame, and then popping that rabbit in there. Looks so pretty, using it in a different way. And a bit hard to see there with all those flowers, but exactly the same idea there. But you can kind of see it a bit more, so you can see using those center dies to make the aperture, so you can pop your elements in there. So you could use it like that, or you leave that center bit like this, and you've got that middle part there then to build your frame. Use your build your scene in there, and you can see there that wrap used like that, or you could do it like so. You can see there bringing in all those other elements, but even there, just using those outside matte layers for the actual card shape itself looks so pretty. And I'll just show you one more. Do you want to go through all of them, or do you want to? We'll save them ones for later, 'cause there's a lot in here. Oh, actually, I'm going to do one more. I've just seen. I was like, I'm not going to do any more, but then I've just seen this one. So we did this one. Look at that. How pretty is that? And there's something really clean and fresh, yeah, in the green and the white. Looks really pretty. So we did that one. Really lovely. It's really nice. The detail that you get in the frame, though, in all of the work, all of those leaves, all those cut lines, it's such a detailed die. But let's do some cutting so we can see exactly what it is that you're going to get. So, right, I've got my die here. So you can see you've got your frame, and then you've also got your 3 matting and layering dies. So these are what you're going to use to make your card base. And then obviously you've got that very, very detailed die. So if you use that just like this, that's going to leave you with that panel on the inside. But then if you add in the matte layers for the center bit and cut like that, then that is going to give you that lovely aperture to go in the center. So you've got lots of different options when you're actually cutting these out. Now I'm just going to grab some cardstock. So this is the Wild Wonders Perfect Papers. So I'm going to grab the green so you can see it more against the white. So we'll grab that. Right, so let's cut this out. So if we go in, I was like, where's it gone? I just put the plates there and it just magically appears in the center. Right, so we'll cut this out. Let me grab a bit of tape because I do not trust myself that that will not move when I cut that out. So we'll pop a little bit of tape on there. And what's going on with my tape? Okay, we're going to trust myself that I'm going to do it because I don't know where my tape is. Right, we're going to leave that there and we're going to trust my steady hands. Right, that is going to go through there. And it's not going to move and it's going to die cut out absolutely fine. Now this, especially when we were in the NEC the other week, I had so many people ask me about their cutting machines, and they had soft spots on their plates, like where your plate will naturally bow, and then they struggle sometimes with larger dies because you need to pop it through and then pop it through again and then like twist it a bit, so you'd have like an area where you've got that soft spot in your plate. And especially if you were cutting out something like this, you can see that's cut out perfectly, and it's because of our no, cut ID. That word does not come into my head. So cut ID, we so many people got cut ID in the NEC because when you were doing something like this, it really, really does help just to add that in. And then when I pull that out, that just comes out perfectly, and you can see there's not one part of that that hasn't cut perfect. There's no bits that I need to go in. It's absolutely perfect. And what I love about this is the detail in these is the little leaves. So that could be a wedding card, it could be an engagement card, it could be a scene in there. Then you can add in, so if you wanted to change that now, so if you've cut this out and you think I want to make it into that aperture, then you could go in and add that on there. So you could add that bit on there, and actually I've got some here with that. So now you could go in and then you could pop that die on there and make it into an aperture, or you could cut that bit out and add that on as a mat, and then you could keep building it then. So you could just keep going with these. Now what I have done for the one that we're going to do now, because I've tried to use them in different ways, so I wanted to try and show you as many different ways to use this as I could come up with. So to start off with, I've cut this out in white, and you can see even in white you still see all of that detail in the dies. It looks absolutely beautiful. Honestly, the dies do everything for you. You don't need to do anything at all. So I've cut out 4 in white, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these two together because I'm going to use this as my card base, and I need that support there. So I need this to be thicker to make sure, like this one I've already done, and you can hear how thick that is. So that is going to be strong enough to be my card base. And I've got the right date glue. I am on the ball with this glue. I've done it every time since. So yeah, everybody said to me that they don't like it. They have to use the right day glue on the right day. So I'm trying my best to make sure I have the right day glue. So I'm just going to pop some glue over this. Now, if you were doing something like this at home, I will recommend using a wet glue, because when this glue dries, this is also going to strengthen the cardstock as well. So if you did it with a tape runner or something like that, then this is going to help strengthen the cardstock a lot more. And obviously it's going to give you a better adhesion when it's done as well, so you don't have to worry about it coming loose. Plus you've got that wiggle time of actually lining everything up, so you don't have to worry about going in perfectly straight away. Right, so I'm going to pop this there for a sec, just to leave that dry, and we'll use this one as our front so we can carry on. So what we're going to do is, I've got the mats and layers. So for this one, we're going to go in with the centre and use them as mats and layers. So we'll pop some foam on the back of here. So we'll pop these on. And then just pull this up. So this is that largest layer in the center. So this is the one that you could cut out to make that aperture in the center if you want to, or you could use it like this as a mat and layer. And then we're going to go in with the next two layers as well. And this one, I always sometimes try and stay away from doing white on white cards, because sometimes it's so hard to actually show on the camera white on white, because you can't see the depth and the dimension in there. But this, I just think you can see everything, even in the white. It just looks absolutely beautiful. You can see all the detail in there. So I was like, do you know what, this is the one we're going to do white on white. So we're going to go in with our next layer. Just going to go there. And then next one. Oh, and I've just heard 20% of the stock of this is already gone. I feel like we've only been on for like a minute. 15 minutes we've been on, so that's really good. Now I'm just going to add glue to this next bit. So this is the next little bit of framework that will go in the center. And again, this just mirrors up perfectly with the pattern on the outside. And equally, you could use that to actually make patterns on your card. So if you've got like a 6x6 card, you could pop that to make tiles, to make your whole pattern up. You can see how pretty that is. So you could use it either way as well. So you could use it like that, and even just behind flowers, if you've got like a card with some flowers, you could just use that as a little tuck in behind your florals as well. So that's going to go on there like that. Now that, let's glue this bit. Let's glue this bit on there. So before I do anything else, let's glue that on there. Let's just open that up. So now, if I just show you this before I even start putting anything on there, how detailed is that? Now from there, you could go engagement card, wedding card, baby card, christening card, happy birthday card. You could make that card into any occasion that you need it to be. So they just work so well. And especially if you were sat at home and you think, do you know what, I always make 6x6 cards, I always make 5x5 cards, this is going to change things for you, because you've got so much detail in there, and all you were doing is doing your die cut. I mean, look how detailed that is. It is absolutely beautiful, and it catches your eye, especially if you do fairs and things and you make and sell. That is going to be the one that catches somebody's eye when they walk past your stand or your table straight away. So we've done that. So just using the mats and layers and that frame so far. And then we're going to go in. Now I wanted to keep this kind of like that clean and fresh look. So we're going to go in with our sentiments. So I've got You Are Wonderful from Petals and Threads. I do like these sentiments. I think it's because they're long. And I'm the type of crafter, I don't know if you guys agree at home, but I am the type of crafter, the sentiment is the last thing I think about. So I'll make my card and then the last thing I think about is, oh, okay, right, where am I going to put a sentiment? So the sentiment's always the last thing. And I feel like these, because they're quite thin and long, they just fit. They can fit in anywhere. So I just find them so easy to use because you can just pop them in anywhere. And even like that. I mean, look at that. That's white on white. And they're lovely, lovely sentiments. So we're going to pop that across there. And then the foliage parts, these, we're going to tuck these in and around here. So let's use some pin flour and we'll glue that on there. Oh, Pearl has message saying good morning everybody, and she managed to get this early and she's really looking forward to it. Oh, Joanne has messaged saying good morning ladies and a stunning card shape. Oh, and she's ordered hers. Oh, and Linda's message saying good morning Laura and Bunny. Morning everybody. I think we're all in a good mood today. I think because the sun's shining. It's like spring is officially here now, isn't it? So we're just going to tuck these in here. And I actually like doing it like this with just that little pop of green. Oh, I don't know, there's just something really fresh and clean. But then you could change this. And if you do make and sell like this exact card, you could replicate this and do this in 100 different colours and it's going to look completely different every time you do it. But then you've got such a stunning, striking card in different colours that you could make and sell very quick and easily. So if I lift that up, there you go. Let's move that out of the way. How pretty is that? Oh, it's just really nice and fresh. And like I say, normally I try and stay away from white on white when I'm doing cards. But I think you can see every single detail in that card. You can see it, even though it's white on white. It just, the dies do all the work for you. There's nothing that you need to do, apart from obviously just run it through your die cutting machine. They are absolutely stunning. You've got all those matte layers. But don't forget, you can also use them as apertures as well. But so that card was made using the Wild Foliage card shape. So this is our new expansion pack, which is launched today. This is the expansion pack for Wild Wonders. It is on a show price for you. So it is $22.99 if you want to grab that today. It will go back up to full price at midnight tonight. So you've got today to grab that. I'm just gonna, let me pull the top ones off because I didn't think, and I've just shoved them back on. Just grab some different samples. Right. So this one Pam has done, and you can see Pam has used it. I love this because it looks good both ways, doesn't it? You can use a portrait or landscape and it still looks brilliant. And even just using those matte layers for the card shape, it just looks really different straight away. You've got that point of interest right from the get-go. And then we've got one here. Yeah, so we've got one here by Janine. I can't. There, there you go. It's not staying up there. I'll just hold it. So you can see using the two of them there, so you can matte and layer those on top, so change your card, and everything else on there is from Wild Wonders. And then we've got another one here by Janine, so you can see there using that as an aperture, so you can see all of that detail on there. And again, in white on white, and it's still, you can see all that detail in there. Absolutely lovely. This is really going to help you. Like I said, if you're somebody that struggles with, or sometimes we all do it, I think we get stuck in like a groove of like, we always just grab the 6x6 card or the 8x8 card or the DL card. You know, this is really going to help you to get out of that, or just to do something a little bit different when all you were doing is just running those through your die cutting machine. Janet has messaged us on Facebook asking where the flowers from. They're from Wild Wonders. Now we do have Wild Wonders show at 12 o'clock, and that is also on a show price for you. So if you do want to have a look at that now, have a look, because obviously if you want to order anything from that show and you want to get the Wild Foliage card shape, it might bump you over to get the free P&P. So well worth having a look now, because that is going to be on a show price for you as well. Yeah, and if you were on about mine, the foliage that I used on my card, that comes in the Wild Foliage card shape. So, and I'll show you the board of that in a minute, so you can see exactly where that came from. I think we're back on ones we've already seen now. They do still look really, really pretty. Right, I'll do one more. There you go. Vera, Bunny's just said she thinks this one's her favourite, so Vera did this one. Oh, she's backtracking now. She doesn't have favourites now, but this is her favourite if she did have a favourite. Okay. Right, I'll just show you the board super quick so you can see exactly what you're getting. So this is the foliage that I used in the demo that I just did. So you do get that foliage and this wrap that you can either use like this, so you can make it as a wrap and you can pop your flowers in there, or you can use two of them to glue together to make a bow. So you can see there. So you can see different ways of actually using that. You could use it as like a gift tag. Do you know what? That whole shape as well. If you had like, that would be like a really fancy gift tag if you put a hole there. It'd be like a gift, yeah. It would be a gift tag card. Because you could still make it like a card, but actually just connect it to the bag. And then you could put your message on the inside. Ah. Right, let's make another card. So, right, let's do this one. So we're gonna, so for this one, we're gonna go in with our card. So we're gonna make the card from the dies. Yeah, so these are the perfect papers from Wild Wonders. So again, that will be in the 12 o'clock show if you want to have a look at them already. So we've cut out, so like I said, you've got your mats and layers. You've got those larger mats and layers on the outside of that frame. So I've used the largest one. So you've got your 3 outside dies. So we're going to use these now to do our card. So the largest one you're going to use for your card base. So I've done that. We've got 2 sheets in white cardstock, and when you fold that top bit, that is going to make your card base for you. So we're just going to glue this top bit, and always glue the bit that you've scored, so then you know how far down your glue needs to go. So that is just going to sit on there like that, and then we've got our card base ready. Then our next layer, I've done the same thing, so I'm kind of just covering that white. So I wanted this green, so we'll pop that on there. So this is the green that we used to do the die cutting just now. So this is the perfect papers from Wild Wonder. Oh, does it? Bunny's just said it looks cream on the camera, not green. Does it? Yeah, but if I put that next to it, now do you see the green? She's saying yeah, but I think she means no. Well, it is a green. Hang on, I'll show it to you with that. There, can you see this? You've got your cream, your green, light pink, dark pink, and then you've got more of a yellowy cream and that yellow colour. So you can see there. So those are the colours that you'll get in there. There you go. Right, let's add some foam. So you want to add some dimension in between these layers, just to add a bit of height in there. It'll just elevate your card. So we'll add some foam onto this one. Oh. Right, so we've gone in with our cream layer next. So that's going to sit on there. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with the green layer next. So I'll just pop that on there. So we'll pop this one on there. So we're just adding in that height in between those layers. So you've got that there. So it really draws you in straight away. So we've got our base, we've got our matte layer, so we've got that lovely frame there that's going to frame everything for us. And then I've cut out in that cream colour the amazing framework that you've got there. So like we said, so we could even go on green because we cut the green one out just now. So even that look, green on green, how pretty does that look? You really see, and that's just testimony to the dyes, of how much the dyes do for you, because even that, you don't lose anything. You still see it all perfectly. So pretty. And then if I pop that on there, you're just gonna have so much fun with these and just play around with them. So for this one, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add in foam on the back of this bit. So then I'm not going to glue down any of that framework, but you're going to have that almost like shadow effect from this, because it's just going to be slightly raised up. But I'm going to add in some of the elements around it, so I'm not worried about gluing it down. So we'll add that on there. So you can see, how you can just see the shading coming around. It just looks so pretty. And again, you could use it like that, or use it like that. So you got options with this. Oh, you could put another one next to it and make it longer, couldn't you? Right, let's go in with this one. So I've got two of these. So these are the little tabs that I said you could either use it as a wrap, or you could use it as a bow. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to make this into a bow. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to stick this down, because otherwise I'll get carried away and I'll forget to stick it down. So I've cut out the framework for the centre bit, and this is in the green, because we're going to pop this onto the cream. So that is just going to sit there. So you got that there like that on the cream. So again, now when you're doing a card like this, you can you could just cut out everyone in the green and then everyone in the cream. And then in the end, you'll have two exact cards that are the negative and the positive of each one. So you'd have like, the other one would have this as the green and the background of the cream. So you could be doing them, do you know, if you do make and sell and you would batch making cards, or if you're doing cards for charity, you know, it's such a quicker way of just, you know, if you cut everything out in the colours, and then you can just sit there and have the fun bit of actually popping them all together. Right, so we're going to pop that on there. So we've got that. Now we're going to make this bow. Now let me just grab a pair of tweezers. Right, now what I do with these, so these have got cut lines in them, okay, so they bend really, really easy. I just go like that with my fingers. Pop a bit of glue on. And then all you're going to do is just line that bit up, and then that's your bow. So what I'll do now is just, let's do the other one. So we're just going to, again, just bend it round, and you'll see it just keeps its shape. Like it keeps that bend in there. So this is going to go on the other one. So what I do is I'll glue the two bits of this, and then pop one on the top there like that, and then just pop the other one on the back. So then you've got your bow. So what I'll do now is I'll just leave that like that. So I'll just leave my tweezers holder while we carry on with the card, just to let that glue set. So, but you've got your perfect little bow. So what we're going to do now is, now I've got one of the rabbits. So this is from the Wild Wonders that we've got coming up at 12. So we're going to pop him or her, actually we're going to go that way. But there. And then we've got this log. Now I'm going to use it almost like a tree. Bunny's like, what? Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pop this along here. So I'm just going to pop some pin flare down this. I love the detail in that. It sounds such a silly thing, but it's so detailed. That is just going to sit there like that, and then we're going to get our bunny, and we're going to pop that over there. So again, let's just pop some pin flare on those parts to keep that up. So that is going to sit there like that. So we've got that there, and you can see I've flipped it round, obviously because we've printed on those mirrored vignettes. You can flip those around too. Now these little foliage parts, so these leaves, like we said, they are what comes in the wild foliage card shape, so you can see them there. Now I'm going to use these, and we're going to, oh actually, hang on, let me stick my sentiment in. We're going to pop this in first so I know where it's going. So let's pop that on there. So, and I've cut this out, so I've got Someone Special, and I've done this in the exact same colours. So those perfect papers, we're going to use them again, and then everything just coordinates really, really nicely. Do you know what I love about the perfect papers though? It makes me use colour combinations that I don't think I'd use. Like, I think if I was just at home and I was going to make a cream and green card, I'd struggle to find the right shade of cream and the right shade of green to go together. Whereas this, it just does everything for me. I don't have to think about things. Now, our bow, let's see if this is okay. Yeah, that's fine. So our bow is going to sit about there. So let's pop this on. And this bow, it's just got like a really natural look to it. So, you know, you can think of so many different collections that you can use this with. Yeah, all those florals that you have that you can mix and match this in with, it's just going to work perfectly. So now what I'm going to do with those leaf bits is I'm going to just tuck these in and around to just build this up. So you could almost make like your own little trees with these, because you can just keep adding, and you can add in as many or as little of these as you want. You can just go to town with them, because obviously as many as you want, just cut out as much as you want or as little as you want, and then you can just keep adding them in. Yeah, and again, you don't have to worry, because like I'm using the reverse now, so using those mirrored vignettes, I always say it's almost like you just get two for the price of one, because you can have them going in different directions. Then I'm going to pop one on the top here, so I just cover, so I don't want that like harsh stop where that is, so I'm just going to pop that there like that, so that just flows a bit better. And then we're going to pop another one just under his ears there to cover that gap there. And then we've got, look, oh, he's so cute. I say he looks like a she. Oh, Bunny's saying it looks like a boy. I think it looks like a girl. Like, it looks really pretty. Yeah, it's like a pretty rabbit. Do you know what? I think it's got a name. I'm sure. I don't know why. I feel like it's got a name. When it's 12 o'clock, we'll let you know if it's a boy or a girl. But you can see there. So you can see how I've brought in those leaves. So bringing in that foliage, the bow, you can see from the card shape. Bringing in the frame, those mats and layers. So we've made the card base from the card as well. So you don't have to worry about your card bases. So, you know, I've brought in the bunny, the sentiment, and that log that I've used there in the background. But equally, I mean, you could have done that with the leaves without even, you know, you can just about see the log, can't you? So you could equally have done that on its own too. But it all comes together really pretty. But that is using the Wild Foliage card shape die set. So it is 250315 if you want to type that in on the website. It is on that show price for you, which will go back up at midnight tonight. So it's $22.99 until midnight tonight. So great deal to be able to grab that while it's brand new. So we'll show you the boards so you can see exactly what it is that you are getting. So you can see here that you've got your mats and layers there with that outside die. You've got that beautiful framework in the center, mats and layers again in the center, and that smaller framework there as well. Now this bit is the part, like I showed you just now, you can use it as a bow, you can use it as a wrap to pop your flowers in, or use it to make up one of those bows. And that, you know, the mats and layers there, add your bow, add your florals, and it looks absolutely stunning. Again, in white and white, and it still looks so beautiful. Your leaves there, so them are what I was using just now, really, and again, such a usable die that you can use for the florals that you've got at home already. So let's grab some more of the design team samples to show you. There's so many here as well today. They must have loved doing these. So this one is from Vera, which is just so lovely, and it's just so fresh, and like it makes me ready for summer looking at these. It's like they're really fresh spring colors. It just looks so, so pretty. This one is by Pam, and again, just using those matte layers for the outside just to make that card shape, but it still looks really, really lovely, and using it landscape instead of portrait, so you get more use out of them again, that you can use them either way. I love this one. Sue's done this one. Really, really lovely. Nice, fresh, clean and simple, but it looks so effective, doesn't it? It's so detailed, adding in those matte layers. It just looks so pretty. Then we've got another one here by Janine. You can see they're using those matte layers to make that card base. Oh, look at this one. Vera's done this one. Look at that. Oh, isn't it cute? Oh, and you know what? I love that. Just having that smaller one in the center just to draw your eye in to that is just absolutely beautiful. Love that one. Then we've got another one here by Sue. New home. How pretty is that? And that, you can really imagine it there with just that one mat on it. You could layer those up. So you could decorate the whole card with those and use them like as tiles to make up your own backgrounds. You could use them in so many different ways. Then, I've got another one here by Sue. Oh. Say it, I'm lucky. Look at that. And actually, I like how Sue's used that wrap on the bottom there, just using it like this. So it's almost like, yeah, like a basket or a banner that Sue's just used on the bottom and then added the flowers in. So that's another way of using them again. So you've got another way there. And then we've got one here by Vera. So pretty, isn't it? Yeah, you can just imagine every occasion covered with these, can't you? We've got one here by Sue, and then this one, Sue has wrapped that band and added the flowers in. Yeah, like a tag. Oh, that's actually the ribbon. I've only just noticed. I thought it was a bit of, do you know, actually, that shows how good the artwork and stuff is. I thought that was just a bit of ribbon or twine. And I've just realised it is actually the bow from the die. But yeah, so using them as tags. Oh, look, he's got the little flowers in it. See, I've said he now. It's a she. It's a she. Right, let's make another card. Let's grab. Right. Let's pop these over there. Now, this one we are... Oh, I thought I dropped something there. Right, so we've got our largest mat and then the next layer in. So we're doing the card shape with this. So I'm going to pop this on there first before we do anything else. So that is going to go on there. Now, again, I'm using those perfect papers from the Wild Wonders paper pack. So, and this is that lovely pink. And then, so next thing you're going to do is cut out the back mat that we cut out in white. You're going to cut that out again. And then you're going to score. Now, this is a bit of a weird one, right? And I'll explain to you why I've done it in a minute. So you're going to score that top bit. So that is going to glue on there. Okay? Now, I was going to make this like a stepper card. But, so what I normally do when I make a stepper card is I score the card in half and then score that top bit. And then obviously pop that bit on there. But when I did that, I just didn't feel like it was too low. Like if I hold that up, do you know what I mean? It looked like I wanted it to be upright. Right, so what I've done then is I've just gone in, I think it was about 1 inch, and I've scored it again. So now it's going to stand up. So I'm going to glue that bit on there, and now it's going to stand up like that. Okay, so are you all with me? Right, you're with me. Right, so let's just rescore these. So I'm now going to just glue this bottom bit. So, and like I said, always glue the bit that you've scored so you know where you're gluing. Oh, Pearl on Facebook has said that she doesn't normally make small cards, but this has inspired her to make small cards. Oh, it is a really nice card shape. And do you know what though? It is, I don't even think it's that small. How big is it? I should have something here really, shouldn't I? Does it say? Bunny's finding out for us. She's finding out. That's bigger than that's about 7 inches. Oh, we need inches. Ah, 11.8 centimeters by 15.4 centimeters. That means absolutely nothing to me. Right. So it's just over 6 inches by just over 4.5 inches. So it's a good sized card. It's not teeny tiny. There we go. Right, now you know. Right, so I've got my, sticking everything to everywhere, yeah. Right, so I've got that. Now let's do the matte layers to go on the front. So this is going to pop on there. So let's add a bit of foam on the back here. Oh, and then Stacey has a message saying it's too perfect. She's had to have it. Oh, it is, but you know what? I think, you know, sometimes we all treat ourselves, don't we? But this is one that you can use with absolutely everything. It's such a usable one that you could just do, you know, like the white card we did at the very start. You could use it completely on its own and it makes a stunning card, or you could use it with every collection that you've got and it's just going to elevate the collections that you've got at home already. So it's kind of just an essential one to add in. So we're just going to pop that on there. And then this is gonna go on there like that. So we've got that there. And then we're gonna pop a white frame on there like that. And that looks just so fresh. But equally, I feel like you could do it in reds and greens or cream and gold, and it would still work for Christmas. So you could you could bring it. Oh, you could cut it out in black as well and do it for Halloween. That would look good. Get some gilding wax on it because they're leaves. So you could do it as like a spooky Halloweeny card. Or if you do memory books as well, you could pop the other die in there to make it into the aperture, and you can put the picture in there. Oh yeah, like autumn, and then you could put a picture in there of like you going pumpkin picking or something. That'd be cute. So that's gonna go on there. Now I've already glued this bow to save us waiting for that. And then I've got these mice. So we're gonna add these in. Now the bow, I'm gonna add this in. So the mice are from the Wild Wonders. Then we've got coming up at 12. So I'm going to pop that there like that. And then we're going to add in our little mouse. Seeing these like this, where they're like coconutty drinks, just makes me want to go on holiday. It's like, just want to be by the pool. Yeah. And then we're going to pop him there like that. How cute are they? And then I'm going to add in some of these leaves. So just add in some of the foliage just to tuck in around these. And even though when I used them in the other card that I did with the white, I feel like it just added to that like crisp, clean and simple look. Adding them in here, I feel like it adds to that like tropical, I'm on holiday look. So there's just going to be so many ways that you can use these because they're just going to fit in to what it is that you're using them. So add that in there. And then add another one down the bottom just to even that out. So that's going to go there like that. And then let's open this up. And then we've got, now I've cut out 2 of these because this is going to be my stopper, so I want it to be support. Yeah, I want it to be quite stiff so that that holds that card up. So that's going to go on there like that. And then we'll pop some foam tape on the back there just for speed. So pop that on there. Oh, I've moved it. Right, so that is going to go. Let's see where that's going to go. Over there. So I've popped that there, and then I've done that in white, and then I've used the same pink from the back to do the sentiment. So you've got celebrate your day. So that could be, again, birthday, could be anniversary, could be absolutely anything. And even this card now, you could put so many different sentiments on here and it would still work for all those different occasions. So now if I pop that up there, so, and it just stands up better for me now than if it was, so if I just pop that down to it, so it would have been like that. So just add in that extra score line so it just stands up. So you can see it'll stand up like that. So it's still going to go flat, so you can still pop it flat, but it just stands up a little bit more proud. And then, so we've got our white on white one. So this was the one that we did at the start of the show. So you can see there. And then we've got the one that we did there using that card base with that one in there. But how different do they look? Like, they equally, you can see so much detail in the framework, but the 3 of them look so different. This one, or this one. So Bunny's just said this would be like a good Father's Day card. You could though, couldn't you? And even cutting out the frame, so if you did the mass and layers in like darker colours, they'd work perfect, because when you look at the frame, like the artwork that's on there, they're little leaves. So you could use those for mail cards, you could use them for so many different occasions. But they are just so pretty. Such detailed dies. So you can see. But so you can see the 3 of them have been made using that wild foliage card shape. So you can see your card shape there. You've got that such detailed framework. You've got the mats and layers there to build your cards up with. You've got that banner, ribbon, tag, so many different things on the bottom there. Plus you have the foliage that you can see on the top. So you're getting a lot there for $22.99, which is that show price. So that price is going to go back up at midnight tonight for you. Now we will be back at 12, and we will be back with Wild Wonders at 12 o'clock. So those are some of the dice that you've seen on the samples that we've been showing you. So jump ahead to that if you're grabbing this and you want to add something else in. Have a look at that show, because that again is on a show price for you. That's at 12. And then at 2 o'clock we will be back with the Wild Foliage expansion pack. So grab a cuppa, grab some lunch, and we will see you at 12. Bye.